Hey, and welcome to my channel about living in and moving to Denver, Colorado. We're going to be talking about the top neighborhoods in the Denver metro. Let's get started. Hey, I'm Katie Martineau, also known as the Real Estate Gal. If this is your first time tuning into my channel, welcome. We are going to be covering all things about Denver, Colorado, and in other videos I talk about events going on around town, things to do. If you're relocating out of state, top neighborhoods to check out, which is one of the reasons I'm recording this video. So if you haven't done so already, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you get notified every time I release a video, which is twice a week. And as mentioned, my nickname is Katie the Real Estate Gal. If you need help with buying, selling, or anything in between, I'm your gal, would love to help you, so please reach out, call, text, or email, whatever is best for you. Now, I've compiled a short list of the top neighborhoods to check out in the Denver metro area. The very first location we're going to talk about is Baker. If I could describe Baker in one word, it would be historical. There are super old Victorian style charm. Driving through the streets of Baker, my jaw just drops at the Victorian charm that you see for most of the houses that are there. There's definitely a mix of different styles, and we'll get into that in a little bit later. But just the aesthetics and the location of Baker are super great. It is just south of downtown Denver, and it hugs the I-25 interstate. It is a perfect distance if you like to go to Broadway for bars and restaurants. There's a ton of vintage shops, eclectic Asian restaurants, brew pubs, and a ton of local late night spots that you can check out. Historians has a really cool rooftop. Irish Rover has a dance floor late at night, and there's Canopy that gets really poppin' at night. There's also a Punch Bowl Social, which is almost like an adult Chuck E. Cheese. There's bowling, darts, indoor bocce ball, and then of course a huge brewery selection. And then another thing that cuts right down the center of Baker is Santa Fe, which has a ton of different artists and galleries that line Santa Fe. There's the First Friday Art Walk, which during the summer months, the first Friday of every month, artists open up their shops so people can walk amongst, see the different artistic expressions. Sometimes there's wine and cheese. The streets are flooded with people. And there's a couple other art districts that are around, such as Rhino and Arvada. So the Baker neighborhood is very popular because of the walkability, as well as the housing include Victorian era homes, bungalows, and some modern apartments. The really interesting thing that you'll know that you're in Baker when you're driving by some of these absolutely gorgeous homes that have really intricate detail to the outside is you can tell the homes have been around forever based off the architecture style, as well as the giant trees, great landscaping, beautiful flowers in some of the front yards. And the houses, like I said, are historical, so they've been grandfathered in. They are right next to each other, and sometimes it feels like the houses are almost on top of each other based off of the distance between the homes. You're also in really close vicinity to the Denver Art Museum, the Performing Arts Complex, Home Depot, and a Safeway shopping center. If you work from home, I probably would say that you don't need a car because everything is within walking distance. Entertainment, shopping, groceries, and public transportation to get downtown or to the Denver Tech Center. Number 2 in the top neighborhoods of the Denver metro is the Cherry Creek area. I would say that the Cherry Creek Mall is one of the main attractions that has people coming from afar to go shopping for this luxury style experience. If you're not going to the Cherry Creek Mall, they have some outdoor shopping as well that has some fantastic designers. So as I mentioned earlier, in the Santa Fe Art District, you have some really great artists that are local to Denver. Now, if you go to the Cherry Creek area, you could take some of those designers and explode them. So the Cherry Creek area also has an outdoor shopping experience, art studios, art galleries, boutiques, nail salons, and some really great fine dining restaurants. They also have casual eateries too, with some of my favorite fine dining restaurants would be Quality Italian. They have Adele Frisco's. Cherry Creek Grill is probably one of my favorite restaurants in that area if you kind of want a local bar and grill that's elevated. And of course, if you're looking for sushi, you gotta hit up Matsuhisa. It's a Nobu restaurant. The aesthetics are are amazing. Service is top notch. And then if you're looking for a little bit more on the casual side, there is a True Food Kitchen, which has a fresh menu. And then North Italia is a really great spot to check out if you're looking for brunch or lunch in the area. There are some really fantastic hotels that are in Cherry Creek, such as the Clio, which has a rooftop. And then there's also the Clayton Hotel, which has a bar downstairs, as well as the Jackard Autograph Collection are the nice kind of ritzy places to stay. The Cherry Creek area has a huge mix of different styles of homes, including historical residences, some fantastic architecture, modern homes, and tree-lined streets. So you'll find some really, really great elevated duplexes. You wouldn't think that if you're spending the price point that Cherry Creek is, that you'd ever live in a duplex. But once you see the interior of them, you'll completely understand if you are still living in luxury, even though you might share a wall with somebody. There are some also really great condos and townhomes that are right behind the Cherry Creek Mall that if you know you want to be in that area and maybe you're moving from out of state, those places would be a really great place to check out whether you're buying or renting, so then you can kind of get situated and more familiar for where you want to be in the Denver metro area or specifically in Cherry Creek. The location of Cherry Creek is also a breeze to get downtown if you just take Spear all the way there. And it also borders Glendale, which the busy road of Colorado Boulevard cuts right through if you're going south to I-25. So even though Cherry Creek seems like it's a little bit more southeast, I would say it's a bit more centrally located based off of being close to those major roads. Top neighborhood number 3 is the Highlands, one of my favorite. This is located right across I-25 from downtown Denver, and it's called the Highlands for a reason. It is a little bit elevated, and you can see the beautiful city skyline at a lot of the bars and restaurants and some apartments that hug that I-25 area. If you move a little bit more west in the Highlands, you're gonna get more single-family homes, a little bit more spread out. The lot sizes are still pretty small compared to if you're living on the outskirts of the Denver metro. But one of the main draws to live in the Highlands is because you are centrally located. And what I mean by that, because it is much different than Cherry Creek. If you're in Cherry Creek and trying to go to the mountains, you are gonna have to wiggle through some of the streets to get to the highway to then another connection, such as Spear to I-25 to 6th Avenue to get to the mountains. But if you are in the Highlands, you are right next to I-25, which can connect to I-70 and you can go to the mountains that way, or just south a bit to then 6th Avenue. So I'd say Highlands is sandwiched between the close vicinity of the mountains, and I feel like the distance to the Denver International Airport is pretty much the same. Highlands has some of the best dining that you're gonna find in the Denver metro area, with a ton of different outdoor seating options. One of my favorite views of downtown Denver is from L5, which is an eclectic Mediterranean tapas style restaurant that overlooks the entire city. It has 360-degree views all the way around, and the bar is super aesthetically pleasing with mood lighting, great bartending staff, and views for days. L5 is part of the Edible Beats restaurant group that also includes Ophelia's, which is downtown. There's Root Down, which is over in the Highlands as well, and L5 is right next to Linger, and then there's Vital Root. Each of these different restaurants has a twist on it and a story behind the entire concept of the restaurant. So Vital Root is vegetarian and vegan friendly. Root Down has a fresh from the earth style menu. Linger has a lot of different things from a lot of different areas, and all of these restaurants are so unique and one of a kind. It's pretty rare that you're gonna find a common style dish there. They have little bits of new American flair to them. I do wanna note, these restaurants are pretty popular, so if you can book a table ahead of time instead of just walk in, I'd highly recommend you do that. That is one of my favorite restaurant groups in the area. There's also Postino's, which is one of Denver's favorite bruschetta joints. They have a board and bottle deal where you get a board of bruschetta, 4 different kinds with a bottle of wine. It's $25 on Mondays and Tuesday evenings. So that place gets super popular. Again, they have a rooftop and a patio, so you get gorgeous views, fantastic eats, and it's pretty affordable for the different variety of options. And of course, to sweeten up the deal, you gotta stop by Little Man Ice Cream. My mom said if there's a line around the corner in the winter, you know it's gotta be good ice cream. It's homemade, super fun, funky flavors. They always have vegan options as well as 2 different types of sorbets and ice cream sandwiches. The best part is it's a giant milk jug. It's so unique and one of a kind, and it's the perfect way to cool down in the summer months. One of the things that I appreciate the most from that is every scoop that they sell at Little Man Ice Cream, they donate a scoop of rice to a third world country. So they're giving back and providing a tasty treat. A lot of the types of homes that you're going to be finding in the Highlands are the Victorian and craftsman style homes. There's, like I said, a ton of single family homes that are on the west side. If you are closer to I-25, you're going to find a lot more apartment complexes, super updated row homes, and modern style stacked homes that have the rooftop as the top floor. Fourth and final top neighborhood to check out in Denver Metro is Sloan's Lake. Sloan's Lake is super duper walkable, with the center being Sloan Lake, as well as the surrounding park, which is 177 acres of park. Sloan's Lake, again, has it all. They have a Target, they have a King Soopers grocery store, Crumble Cookies is always worth mentioning, and then some local dive bars and fast food joints. And one of my favorite things is the Edgewater Public Market. It's a little bit hidden and out of the way, but it's super popular. They have a brewery and all sorts of different types of food stations inside that create this huge food hall. So they have empanadas, local sausages, tacos, Australian style ice cream. There's a Shake Shack right across the parking lot, as well as a syrup, which is a breakfast joint, and then they also do movies in the park. They host a ton of events there that are family friendly, such as visiting Santa Claus. They have a farmer's market every so often, and there's some little boutiques inside for shopping. If you're with a group of people and you can't really decide what type of cuisine you're interested in, Edgewater Public Market is really great because of the food hall. You can really get any type of food that you're in the mood for and satisfy everybody's cravings. There's also a little strip that's right behind Edgewater Public Market, and that's gonna have a dog grooming place, a local nail salon, local hair salon, and then there's Joyride Brewing, which was right on the corner. They have some really fun and interesting styles of beer that they serve. Now, if you don't live in Sloan's Lake, I'd highly recommend going and just walking around the lake. Sometimes there's yoga in the park or different workouts, or different styles of workout groups will host a workout session in the park because it's so beautiful. You can see the Denver skyline from one side of the lake, and if you turn around, you're gonna get the mountains in the back. I got some really cool drone footage when it was still icy and the lake was covered in snow, but you can get a good idea of what type of views that you're gonna get at Sloan's Lake. In terms of housing style, there's some really established homes that have been there for quite a while, and then if you go just south of the lake, you're gonna find Patio at Sloan's and Sloan's Tap and Burger. There are a ton of different apartment complexes there for rent, and then if you go a little bit south of Colfax, you're gonna find a ton of different styles of row homes that are, again, that stacked style where you're sharing a wall with 1 or 2 people, and typically the top floor is the rooftop, so you get those amazing and gorgeous views. I had a client that was looking in Sloan's Lake, and one of the popular reasons that some people like those brand new builds is because they're making the homes have ADU accessibility. And what that is an accessory dwelling unit, almost like a mother-in-law suite, or some people call it a granny flat, but it's essentially where you can completely rent out your basement as an Airbnb for short-term rental, or you can do a long-term renter, and you can actually make income from your primary residence. I could go on and on about investment opportunities with getting income from your primary residence with having renters in the home with you, or a separate space that's income generating. So if you want to have a one-on-one conversation about ADUs, please reach out to me with my contact information and let's set up a call chatting about your goals. But to wrap up the top neighborhoods, if you haven't been to any of these 4 neighborhoods, I would highly recommend checking them out. There are things to do even if you don't live in those areas. And if you're visiting from out of town, put all 4 of those on your to-do list of just to drive by, check out bars and restaurants. There's always events happening at all 4 of these different locations. And if you need more recommendations, please reach out to me. I would love to help you, whether it be real estate related or things to do around town. Here is my contact information below, and if you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell so that you get notified every time I release a video, which is twice a week. Have a fabulous weekend, and we'll see you next week.